It's a late night. We diving into how to build business credit from scratch. Late night. I'm doing it late because I did not have the opportunity to log on earlier and go live. It's been a super busy day. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to go through how to build out and how to get business credit from scratch. I haven't seen anybody actually break down from zero all the way up to top tier to the point of getting vehicles in your name. This is information that other people have paid thousands of dollars for. So instead of charging y'all thousands of dollars, I figured why not share the game for those that want to execute, offer some resources and information, and that way you can at least build up a couple of tiers of business credit yourself. Let me right now I'm just looking for my book right now. Let me know how y'all doing. Check in. Let me know if you're up with me, where you're coming in from. As soon as I find this, I'm gonna share my screen and we are going to get started. All right. So one thing I want to explain is that there is a difference between business funding and business credit. Business credit is the process of building a totally separate profile that is solely reliant on your business. It's completely separate from your personal. And when your business credit is built out, you do not have to PG anything. So the great part about having business credit is this is how people can get access to funding, access to business services without having good credit. Okay. In some instances, um, you don't need to have a lot of money to access it either. Even though, unlike personal credit, business credit does take money, and business credit is really credit between your business and another business. They call this vendor credit or vendor trade lines. So, for instance, it's almost like a barter system in a way. So, with my business, let's say I'm doing consulting for another small business. And instead of charging that business a price that they have to pay up front, I invoice them and then give them 30 days to pay me back. That's considered vendor credit. The amount of time that you have extended to you to that pay that invoice is called the terms, and they call it net 30 or net 90, but net. So when you hear net in a number, that's how many days you have to pay back that invoice. The faster you pay the invoice, the better. All right. So that's the big thing. Being able to access credit, access funds, access what's the other thing? Um, access services without it being reliant on your personal credit. So this means you could build business credit if you have a 400. This means you could build business credit if you got a bankruptcy. This means you could build business credit if you don't have any banking relationship. Okay. You will want to develop those things later because it only helps you in your financial goals and financial plans overall. It makes life a hell of a lot easier, especially if you're not a multimillionaire. You don't have millions or billions of dollars backing you, right? if you're a small business owner, these things will be important. But business credit can help you leverage other people's money even while you, your personal credit may be in the rebuilding phase. I help a lot of clients where we will look into leveraging their business credit, their business profile, while their personal credit is under construction, aka they're currently going through credit restoration, credit repair, they're adding age, things of that nature to their personal credit. So it may not be ready for funding on the personal side. They may not be ready to PG any business credit cards, but they have a business, they have their paydex score, EIN number, all of that is built out. So then we can go to and acquire store credit or vendor credit to help them scale their businesses. Let me share my screen. We are going to get into this. Oh, wait, hold on before I start that. I know what I got to do. Bam. All right, I think I got it. And we is going to boom. And we're going to boom. Make sure y'all can see me. All right, that's a bet. Nope, that's not what I wanted. All right. So the first thing you got to do, of course, is set up your business entity. You got to choose if it's going to be an LLC, a sole prop. I wouldn't recommend a sole prop. I would recommend an LLC or a corporation. That's always going to be the first thing, right? There are a lot of pros and cons to each of these different type of structures. Some have tax implications and pro tax advantages. So, for instance, corporations are taxed differently than an LLC. LLC is taxed slightly different than if you're a sole prop. Okay. There are also different legal protections depending on what type of entity you're doing. Sole prop, you really don't have any tax advantages. You don't really have any legal protections, right? Whereas the limited liability, you can, that gives you an extra layer of protection in case you're being sued. And then corporation, of course, they have their own, they have a whole other tax code, not whole other, but they have a whole other section of the tax code just for corporations. And then, corporations have their own type of legal protections as well. Choosing your business name. I would recommend, everyone always recommends choosing a business name that is ambiguous. You don't really know what it does, and it is not very clear, right? So this is great for high risk industries. So for instance, I have a client and their business has the word trucking in it. Now, we haven't ran into any funding issues just yet, but once we transition to certain banks, they don't like to fund trucking. That's not an industry that they're interested in. So automatically, we're limiting the amount of funding we can get. Instead of it saying trucking, we could change it to enterprises or maybe transportation or movement or logistics, something to that effect, but not trucking because that already tells them what industry you're in and it can cause some hiccups. So be ambiguous or just come up with a really creative name that doesn't have anything to do with anything. You don't know what it does or why it does it. You can't figure it out from the name. And what that will do is it will actually give you the opportunity to explain to bankers what it is your company does. And that's probably the best situation that you can be in because now you get to cultivate the story. You get to tell people and tell the banks what it is that you do. And now they have to rely on you to give them the information that they're looking for. Sorry, something flew in my eyeball. All right. So you want to be able to tell the story and build that story out. And don't worry if your name is trucking or something that you can easily identify what industry you're in, because you can always change it and you can always form another entity. That's actually, not hard to fix. And there are a lot of high risk industries. Okay, some of course include weapons. If you're in the bail bonds industry, check cashing places, ended not e- energy. If you're doing gambling, if you do loans, pawn shops, politics, if you're in the porn industry, strip clubs, things of that nature. Ironically, architecture. And so if you have like a lumber company, that could be considered high risk, and they have different underwriting guidelines for those type of industries, right? Auto, dry cleaners, okay, gasoline stations. Not saying that you cannot get funding. They absolutely have banks and financial services that cater to these very niche areas and professions, okay, and businesses. It's just that it's not as simple as walking into your neighborhood bank and getting a small loan for it. Next is business address. It's a couple of things with the business address, right? Business address, you don't want to use your house or your apartment, because one, that address becomes public information. That means anyone or any disgruntled client or just random crazy person can type in the name of your business and now they see your house. That's not good for security reasons, because people are crazy. People are hella crazy. So you don't want that. And the banks see it as a red flag because it makes you look small. It makes you look like you're just starting. It makes you look even smaller than a mom and pop. And for them, that looks very risky. Instead, get a virtual office. You can get a virtual office from Regis. You can get a virtual office from Alliant. You can get a virtual office from DaVinci. It's a lot of places to get a virtual office. You can literally go and hop on Google and type in virtual office near me and just pick one, right? But when you're researching your virtual offices, go to USPS.com and look up the address and see if that address has been marked as a commercial mailing center. If it's has been marked as a commercial mailing center, you do not want to use it. Skip it. Because when it's marked as a commercial mailing center, banks know that it's a virtual address. They don't want that. They don't want virtual addresses. It makes you look unstable, and it makes you look as if you are is unstable, and it makes you look unprofessional. All right. So you don't want that. Now, what you can do once you find a good address, you can use that address as the business address. You can register it with the state and everything. When you go to set up your banking account, when they're asking you for a mailing address, you can put your home address as the mailing address with the bank. That's not a problem. It's just that when we're talking about the front facing information, the information that you're going to register with the state, the information and address that you're going to put on your website and all your marketing materials, you want that to be a totally separate address than your mailing address. Or, I'm sorry, than your residential address. Meanwhile, while you're in the bank doing business, if they're asking you for the mailing address, you can make the mailing address your home address. That's just a little workaround. You got to have your EIN. That is 100% free. Make sure you go to irs.gov to get your EIN. When you pull it up on Google, you're going to skip all the advertisements. So any website that ends in .com for EIN is a scam. They're just trying to take your money. You don't need to pay for EIN. It is 100% free. Next, you're going to need a business phone number. So there's a lot of places to get a business phone number. A lot. Even a lot of the companies that offer virtual addresses also offer business phone numbers. They offer the address, the phone number, the fax. Some of them will even have a virtual, not a virtual, but an assistant that you can pay for who will actually answer your phone calls for you. You can have Chat GPT create a script for that assistant or receptionist to use when answering the phone on behalf of your business, right? And they can be your appointment setter or take calls and leave messages for you. It makes you look really legitimate to other people and to the banks. There are a lot of different phone services if you don't want to use the virtual office provider and their phone service. You got Call 8, you got Freedom Voice, you got Ring Central. You can always call your local telephone service, whether it's Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, whomever. They all offer business phone lines as well. I personally use Call 8. That's KALL, the number 8 is like $5 or $10 a month for 800 number. Super cheap. It's super cheap and easy. And once you have that number, you can always forward it to whatever number you want, to your cell phone, to another location. It doesn't really matter. Wherever you can do it. Next, once you have all of that, you will want to go to 411 and list yourself on 411. Um, that website is pretty simple. It's just listmyself.com. I'm sorry, listyourself.net. Listyourself.net. That's how you can add yourself to the directory. I don't know why I'm trying to remember. I have it written here in my book. So listyourself.net is where you can go to make sure that your business pops up in 411. Because believe it or not, the banks do look that up. They do their due diligence and look you up and research and see whether or not your business is legitimate. And one way is to make sure that you're on Google. You got to make sure you have a web presence, and you got to make sure you pop up in that 411. Here you're going to have your business website and email. Now, you definitely want to have a website. Email, there are plenty of businesses that use, Gmail accounts. I know hella of attorneys that have Gmail accounts, and that's just the account that they use. But it doesn't look as good as if when you compare it to having a corporate account, right? So instead of it just being crackthescore at gmail.com, Jamal at crackthescore.com is a lot better. So like my general email, you want to get in contact, is team at crackthescore.com. Of course, you got to have all the required licenses and permits, etc. If your industry requires those, right? You gotta have that. Next is a business bank account. Business bank account. This is critical when we're talking about getting business credit. We absolutely positively must, have a business bank account. Absolutely must. absolutely must have a business bank account. You won't qualify for business lending, real business lending, not just zero interest credit, but we're talking about SBA loans, revenue based financing, Stripe financing, things of that nature, MCAs, unless you have a business bank account. Also, when some lenders are looking at the age of your business, they look at when the business was registered with the state and when the bank account was open. So there are going to be four key components you need when you're starting a business to say that you're actually in business: your EIN, your articles of organization, a payment processor, a way to accept payment, and the business bank account, because the payment processor needs to go into a business bank account, not a personal. If it's going into a personal bank account, ain't nobody going to give you no money. All right. So all you need all this to make sure your business is properly set up so you can get some money. Now, how do we start establishing business credit? A couple of things to understand. One, well, first thing is that there are multiple credit reporting agencies on the business side. Just like we have the big three on the personal side, TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, we have the big three on the business side, which is Dun and Bradstreet, Experian Business, Equifax Business. There's a newer one that's spreading a little more called Credit Safe. So that would be like number four. Okay, they're growing more, but they're not as big as Dun and Bradstreet, Experian, Equifax. Dun and Bradstreet is the largest and the oldest. They're the largest and oldest credit reporting agency, period. Whether you're talking business or personal, they're the oldest credit reporting agency. Okay. They actually control about 70% of the market when it comes to business credit reporting. So they're massive, they're huge. All right. So here, some things that's business credit. Boom. We spoke about that. We know about that. Boom. Right. There's a lot of information in here. Well, I think this is. Hold on. We could talk about the scoring models. That's fine. We'll talk about that. So understand, just like with your personal credit, you have your personal credit scores. It goes from 300 to 850. Depending on the model, some models go as low as 250 and up to 900. But the average consumer FICO model is 300 to 850. With Dun and Bradstreet, they have your PAYDEX score. Your PAYDEX score goes from 0 to 100. Very easy, very simple. You're considered having good business credit once you hit 80. So PAYDEX 80 score is the score that you want to shoot for. We're going to talk about how to build up your credit report so that you can get a PAYDEX 80 score. You'll start to get a PAYDEX 80 score once you have about 3 to 5 accounts showing up on your business credit. And business credit is interesting because it's about how quickly you pay the bill. So if someone gives you 15 days to pay your bill, you're not actually supposed to take an entire 15 days to pay them. You're supposed to pay them as soon as possible. The closer you get to the 15 days, the lower your paydex score is going to be. So we have Equifax. Equifax get their information from the Small Business Financial Exchange. right? And it's based on like 12-month terms. Now with Equifax, their scores range from like 200 to 450. Okay. And same thing, pay your bill fast, not just on time, but pay it early. Experian is interesting because it's 0 to 100 as well, similar to Dun and Bradstreet. And you can get, we'll talk about later in the video, some auto dealers that allow you to get funding with business credit. So to start off getting this Paydex 80 score, right? You're going to start off with the tier one vendors. These are like the entry level vendors. Okay. You're going to need at least three of these to report to generate a Paydex 80 score. This says 50 or more. I got to change it. It's really more than that. And these criteria change all the time, especially since the pandemic, right? It is late. Mm. So these are some tier one vendors that you can use. And as you can see, I go into a lot of detail, not going to go into as much detail because it's a lot of vendors, a lot of information. So some tier ones include 76, auto parts, if you're in the auto industry. There's a lot of tier ones that cater to the auto industry and trucking because gas and diesel is hella freaking expensive. Okay, so are those car parts. We got Global Voice. This is another phone service that you can use to build up your business credit. And these are important because one thing that happens is that as you build up business credit, there are a lot of companies that you can get credit from as a business, but none of them help you build up your business credit. Also, this information is powerful because right now I know people that are paying $2,000 to $3,000 to have somebody build out their business credit, and all they're doing is going out and getting these same exact trade lines and putting them onto their business credit for them, right? So Granger, we know, is a OG. They've been around forever. They'll start reporting in about 30 days, right? Hardware Express. So to build up your tier one, you're going to take 3 to 5 of any of these accounts, whatever ones work for you. It doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't, whatever, if it fits your profile, great. Apply with them. This is the information right here. You can use any of these to build up your your tier one accounts, right? Creative CEO is pretty dope. They're good with marketing materials. Everyone needs marketing and branding, so it's really cool. They even have office equipment that you can buy on vendor credit. Uline switched up a little bit. You now have to uh, do about 2 to 3 orders, so like one order a month before they actually start reporting on your business credit. Typically, all of these accounts will start to show up within 60 to 90 days. So that's how long it's going to take for you to get that Paydex 80 score. 60 to 90 days, because that's about how long it takes for any of these vendors to report. All right. So definitely keep that in mind. It's not as instant as when you're building up personal credit. So once you have about three of those trade lines, you can then go to tier two. Tier two, in a way, business credit works, you just keep stacking. So you start off with these tier ones, you pay them, they give you the Paydex 80 score, and then you just keep adding. Business, and that's literally how you're going to build up business credit. Now, some business lines of credit will not be available to you until you have the right amount of trade lines showing up. And that's basically what we're going through. In order to get to tier two, you have to have at least 3 tier ones. It's just like a video game, right? You got to keep leveling up. And there are certain criteria that you have to meet to level up, just like in an RPG. Do we still call them RPGs? They may be called something else now. But now you get to see that we have some everyday stores, some common names are popping up. 7-Eleven, Amazon. That's you have the Amazon business credit card, which is underwritten by American Express. And then you also have Amazon also has vendor credit from Amazon directly that you can leverage and take advantage of. We have that information there. CDW, which is I think it's transportation. Okay, creative analytics. This is dope because everyone needs money for marketing. This is actually a digital marketing agency that offers its services on net 30 terms. So not only can you get help with your marketing, you can also build your business credit. Right? Exxon Mobil, that's going to be a gas card. Fleet Pride, another gas card, and parts for your truck. Being able to get those parts on your truck at 30-day net 30 terms can be huge for saving that cash flow, right? Um, More fleet cards. I'm not even sure what Gray Bar is. Golf. So all of these, right? You're going to need at least 3 of these to build up. Home Depot, major right now, major. Okay, if you're in contracting, you do fix and flips, construction, having a Home Depot vendor account can be massive. Same with Lowe's. And the great thing is that these do not show up on your personal credit. All this is business credit. So you'll be able to borrow from these stores directly with no impact to your personal credit. Office Depot's on the list. So we know that you'll need 3 to 5 trade lines already reporting before you get to Office Depot. The same is true from Sam's Club. You can get a $10,000, $20,000 Sam's Club card as long as you have the foundation built out on your business credit. And you get a Sam's Club card without them running your personal credit at all. Quill is another OG in the game. Sheets is a gas station. Staples. Now you can start getting financing office equipment, just like Office Depot, U-Haul. Right? These are major brands that I'm sure you've seen before, and you probably didn't know that you could get them using business credit. Wawa. Right? How many people knew that you had business that all those brands had business credit? So you build out tier one, tier two. You got 3 lines from tier one, 3 lines from tier two. Now we're in tier three. So you got 6 trade lines on your credit report. Once you have 6 trade lines on your credit report, you're ready for the third tier of business credit. And if you notice, yes, you have to be paying these bills. Okay. This is not something where it's like, oh, let me just try and get this real quick. Oh, no PG funding. This is the no PG funding that the people talk about on TikTok, but they're not telling you what banks or not banks, what they're not telling you what vendors to go to. They're not telling you who actually offers these trade lines, but they'll charge you $2,000 to $3,000. BP, I've actually gotten and you can get a BP card even with tier one business credit. It's just that your limit will be a lot lower. Like I got a BP card, it's only $1,000 and I got to pay it back every week. You got the T-shirt club. They allow you to build up business credit. Sitco, right? Or Sitgo, right? All of these are great. Lands End. I know a lot of y'all know Lands End, right? All of these, you can use any of these to build up your tier three. These are great for trucking, transportation, logistics, being able to fix your car or buy that diesel gas and you got 30 days to pay it back, or even if you got, just 10 to 15 days to pay it back after you refuel. I'm talking to one of my clients, they spend $18,000 a month on diesel fuel. So being able to use a gas card is massive. It helps tremendously with increasing cash flow. And imagine being able to carry that type of debt, $18,000 a month, to carry that with you from month to month without having to max out your personal credit cards, without having to damage your personal credit. So after you have four of these tier threes, you're then going to be ready for tier four. So here you're going to add four more. So we was at three, we was at six, then we was at 10. Once you have 10 trade lines, you're ready for tier four business credit. Tier four business credit, this is where it gets fun because now we're talking about financing vehicles in your name, in your business name. You can go to Ally, they offer business vehicle financing. American Express offers no PG, EIN only credit when your business credit is actually built out properly. Now, something with this is Amex, their corporate program is totally different. I got to update this. Brex is obsolete. They're now Bill. We got Chevron, Texaco, Circle K, Citizens Bank. With Citizens Bank, you do need to have business credit established, and your business needs to be at least 6 months old. Same with Commerce Bank. You can set up an account and start ordering with Dale. You can do this even. You can have a Dell account, and you can combine. Don't forget that if you have a business American Express Platinum business card, you can use your Dale credits. Divvy obsolete. That's now the Bill card. I'm sorry, Brexit's still around. They just don't do small businesses anymore. You can do Ford vendor credit, so you can get your business vehicle through Ford, EIN only. Frost is a revolving cash account, so a regular Visa MasterCard is what I'm saying. Your Sam's Club card. Now, Sam's Club, you don't have to wait till four. Tier four, you can't get that at like a tier two. So if you have 5 to 10, you can get Sam's. All right. And then Toyota. So yes, you can go to Toyota, get financing with just business credit. Okay. So this is how business credit is built out. I just ran through this really quickly. It's a lot of, as you can see, it's a lot of information. It's all broken down throughout, right? And it's important to know that it's 100% possible. Once you get to that third level, I'm sorry, once you get to the fourth level, when you're financing vehicles, you can even start going to other stores with this built out business credit and get even more store credit through your business with no impact to your personal credit. Hopefully that was, well, not hopefully. I know it was definitely helpful. Now you know how to build out your business credit. Strictly no PG, EIN only. If you want more details and you're wondering where was I getting all that information from, what book was I looking at, that book is actually it's the Business Building Blueprint. The link is in the description, so you guys can click the link and grab that. In the meantime, between time, I'll holler you guys later. I'm going to get some rest. Everyone have a great one. Peace.